Mr. Donald?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Butte-Silver Council Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting, May 25th, 2016. Could I have roll call, please?
There are 11 present, 1 presiding, 0 absent.
Thank you, Laura. Would you all join us with Commissioner Henderson with the prayer and pledge?
Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver Bowl. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Henderson. Report of the chair. Well, I can just say that I came back from Seattle and I brought the rain with me, so that's the end of that. Now the sun's out. It's always nice to come back home. In the bid openings, public hearings, and presentation section, we have section 1, which is a presentation, communication number 16-228. Nicole Ivankovich, Assistant Director, Butte-Silver Public Archives, requesting Council Commissioners authorize a presentation on May 25th, 2016 for the Archives Board of Directors to present employment contracts for the Clark Chateau and authorize the Chief Executive to sign the Clark Chateau employment contracts with Carson Becker and Callis and Stratton. So I would like to begin with introducing the Archives Board. We have Brian Holland, Sarah Sparks, John McDonald, and of course Nicole and Ellen Crane and Mitzi Resilien, and the 2 gals here, I assume, are
Carson
the 2.
Becker.
Yep, there we go. All right, nice to meet you 2.
Hi.
Anyway, I'd like to introduce the staff who are providing this presentation this evening on the successes that have been achieved by the Chateau, the Clark Chateau, during the past 2 years. In November of 2013, with the approval of the Council of Commissioners, the Archives successfully took over the management of the Clark Chateau. The Archives Board, along with the staff, has put in a great deal of hard work to ensure the Chateau is an accessible, safe environment for the people of our community as well as our visitors. And for anyone who has not been there, it's a treat and you need to go. It's just an amazing transformation of that building and has been successfully restored and kept in great shape. And I would like to now turn this over to Brian Holland, the Archives Board President. Brian?
Thank you.
Floor is yours.
You go here.
Either side, whatever you would like.
Thank you. So I'm Brian Holland here. I'm in my capacity as the chair of the Archives Board. It's a pleasure to come before you. We appreciate all your support. As the chairperson just said, the Chateau was put under the Archives manager about 2.5 years ago. So we wanted to come and just give you a presentation where we're at. We appreciate the agenda is a little bit off. The contracts were actually approved last week, so we appreciate that. That's one of the notes I was going to say is thank you very much for that. So we've got that. So this is really more of an informational presentation. I'm just going to say a few general comments, turn it over to Ellen and the other folks that were just mentioned or introduced, and they'll go into the details. But on behalf of the board, as I said, we've got 2 board members here in addition to me, Sarah Sparks and Jim McDonald. And our other board members are Marissa Newman and, Justin Ringsack, Bill McKenzie, and Laura Legan. So it's a great board. We'd like to think we do a good job. I know we work hard up there, so we appreciate the council's support through the years with the archives and now with the Chateau. So we like to think, successful about 2.5 years up there. We've been hard at it, working. We spend a lot of time dealing with the Chateau and trying to make sure that we're doing, kind of what the council and the community and everyone is expecting us to do with it. We like to think we're growing in a positive manner. When we took over the management of it, we set out some initiatives, a lot of them obviously focused on preservation and maintenance of the building. And Ellen's going to talk about that some more. And, but over and above that, just operations, programming, and we've been hard at it. And then the feedback that we've received has been very positive, overwhelmingly positive. So hopefully that reflects that our work is being recognized by the community and the visitors to the chateau. So in planning for it, one of the things we did, well, we've been at it kind of for 2.5 years, but more recently we really kind of zeroed in on it, was to put together a mission statement, just to make sure we kind of, like any organization, put together a mission statement to, what really are we focused on here. So recently here we crafted it, and the board adopted a mission statement that reflects our vision for the building. And to a large degree, it was based on the community feedback. And that mission statement is, the mission of the Charles Clark Chateau is to preserve the historic building under the ownership of Butte-Silver and encourage its active use by providing a space and support for the community and visitors to gather and engage in cultural, artistic, and humanities programming. So that, a big part of that is under the ownership of Butte-Silver. So we're going to continue to focus on that and make sure it's used by the community and visitors for a variety of programming. The board is committed to carrying out this mission and sustaining this wonderful facility that has been put in our care. As mentioned earlier, I'd also like to thank the council for approving the employment contracts for Carson Becker and Callis and Stratton. And we appreciate that. And we're starting into the summer season, and they'll be very busy up there. So again, thank you very much. And at that point, I'd like to turn things over to Ellen and let her go into a little more detail on things and what's been going on up there, and introduce other folks who will speak as well.
Okay, thank you, Brian. I want to, Ms. Shaw, Council of Commissioners, and Matt, I want to thank you for allowing us to take over the chateau. At the beginning, I wasn't quite so sure, but it has really blossomed as a place, and I'm really thrilled with it. Two of the factors when we made the proposal to manage the chateau, one of the things that we said that we would do is bring it up to code and work on the preservation of that building and provide public access. And I'm really pleased to say that June 1st, we will have completed our process of preserving that building and getting it up to code. And all of that is been under the direction of Mitzi Resilient. And I'm going to have Mitzi stand up and speak to what has been accomplished in the building and what the plans are for the future maintenance. Well, maybe not future maintenance.
Wow, that's how to put somebody on the spot. My name is Mitzi Resilient. I live at 815 West Granite. And I just wrote a few notes to let you know about the improvements that have been made at the chateau. Because some of them are behind the scenes and you don't really get a chance to see them, and some of them are in your face, which are the ones, of course, that are the most well-loved by the visitors. But we received all of this work that we did, or 95% of it, was done through a TIP grant, which is through the Department of Commerce, and I've talked to you about that before. And what that was is for infrastructure improvements. And so rather than going in excruciating detail, which I would love to because I'm very proud of what has been accomplished, I'll just hit a few of the highlights. And that was, we did electrical upgrades and repairs, and that included emergency exit lights, which hadn't been lit for years, replacement of missing and operable light fixtures, and also replacement of all the light bulbs with LED bulbs. We also did plumbing upgrades, and one of the accomplishments in the plumbing field was this most interesting and the best for the building was new supply rooms to 2 of the bathrooms. And that was quite an accomplishment. We also had addition of heating system backup equipment, which in the case of a catastrophic problem with the pumps, we have them already on hand and don't have to wait till the stores open at the next time. We also did insulation at the rim joists and a couple of the walls that could be insulated, which were usually in the galleries on the 1st and 2nd floor. We also had some carpenter support, and our carpenter did quite a bit of work, but he especially helped in developing project specs and project inspection. And then the part that's in front and that you can see, anybody who goes to look at it, is refinished floors. We refinished 5 floors in the rooms where the carpet was some of the worst condition, and so it made a really big impression. And last but not least, we are getting 470 pounds of interior storm windows being delivered at the beginning of next week. If anybody wants to help, I'll call you up to unload them from the curb. And also we're having some exterior storm windows. The exterior in the spaces where it's easy for us to get to, for our contractor to get to, and the interior windows are going to be in the upper floors. And so you can tell we're all pretty proud of the work that we were accomplished and of the building's current appearance. And in addition to what our contractors provided in Northwest Energy rebate, which was substantial, this all was accomplished for $62,132, which is a screaming deal. And it's a screaming deal as far as you guys are concerned, because $41,421, or 60% of that, was from the TIP program or from the state. And the remaining $20,711 was from the Redevelopment Trust Fund Authority. And so that's all, screaming deal, $62,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitzi. I'm really pleased with the preservation work there. When you plug something in, you don't get shocked. The lights all come on, and the lights are darling. They have little crowns in them, so that was a bonus. So the other component that we said we would do was provide public access and look for a new use for that building, a use that would engage the public in a new and different way, because it had not been used in a long time, but also it had pretty much failed as a house museum, we felt. So we received a proposal from Carson Becker, and last year was the first year. And I have to say, it was a hugely successful management and programming of the Chateau. And we're delighted that we're going to have it again. And I want to now introduce Carson and Callison.
Ladies?
Hi, Chairwoman Shaw, Council Commissioners. Thank you so much for having us here today. I'm Callison Stratton. I'm the curator of the Clark Chateau, and this is Carson Becker, who's the director of our programming. So since beginning our work in the Chateau last summer, we began right around this time last year. Visitors to the building have actually increased 100%. We've had many more hundreds of visitors than we had ever seen in the past. And we are having regular tours open currently on weekends, and then we're going to be open in June throughout the summer, regular days again. And we had an incredibly successful summer internship program for the youth of our community last summer, as some of you may remember, and that the program focused primarily on history and the arts, and we received incredible support from many community members, including the Friends of the Butte Archives, and received a lot of positive feedback from our youth. And as a result, we are now we are expanding our youth programming this summer, not just to an internship, but we're going to have a lot of youth opportunities for historical research, for theatrical, musical, and artistic expression, which has been pretty much demanded by the youth of our community, who've really come to take ownership of the Chateau, which was our ultimate goal from the very get-go of that program. We've also held several big events at the Chateau in the past year. We had a really successful Halloween event, which looked at Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven, which was very well attended. And we've also hosted lots of events that by community members who were really interested. We had rentals, we had a wedding, we have a bridal shower coming up. And then most recently, throughout the month of April, we celebrated the Easter Rising of 1916 in Ireland, and had a 4-weekend program at the Chateau that was sponsored by a grant from Humanities Montana, and also by the Butte Archives and our organization, The Root and the Bloom. And that included plays and lectures by Dave Emmons, Treylock O'Riordan, and Father Patrick Beretta. And we received incredible praise, and we handed out these feedback forms for people to respond, which is going to be a constant thing that we get, that we give out at all of our events, so that we can get constant feedback from our community and regularly be able to address what they want. And I just wanted to read a few of those. And one of them was, I just wanted to let you know that this program is outstanding. It combines culture with creativity. An added bonus is giving youth the opportunity to express themselves in a constructive, creative way. And that's actually direct response to a youth commission that we did. We commissioned Tom Gammons, who's 16, to compose a piece of music inspired by the Easter Rising and by the Chateau. And then I love that the Root and the Bloom have reinvigorated the Chateau and our community with their offerings. So, and we have a whole bunch if you want to read them. And yeah, so, and we're hoping to have more programs like that in the future. And Carson's now going to talk about some of those programs.
So, thank you for having us. So, some of our future programs, in June 25th, we're hosting a program about food and spirituality. Father Beretta was a part of our Easter Rising series, and so enjoyed himself that he wanted to collaborate with us. And so we are hosting a fundraiser that is going to combine food. We're having a young local chef, Daniel Hogan, if anyone knows him. And it's going to be a community project where people will be donating food, and there's going to be wine and cheese and
lectures.
And lectures. Yes, there's going to be 6 lectures. St. James is also collaborating with us, the hospital, and there's going to be a nutritionist who comes and is going to be talking about food, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of aspects of food, and people can dress up and fundraising, and so that's on our dock.
And it's specifically a fundraiser for the Chateau's kitchen, which is going to help us with rentals in the future, because currently it's very limited. And so part of the funds from that are going towards helping to expand our kitchen.
Yes. We are currently doing, the play reading series was enormously popular and successful during the Easter Rising series that we had. We read several Irish plays. And so we are doing local playwrights. Susan Dunlap, for those of you who know her, the environmental reporter at the Standard. We're reading a play of hers this Saturday, and this will continue. There are a lot of playwrights and people who want to be able to read their work, and the youth as well. So that is a program that's going to be expanding. I love this one. We're having a dollhouse exhibit. The archives had several dollhouses, one by the beloved Alice Smith, that were closeted and dusty, and they are now all at the Chateau, and many people are coming to see them, actually. And so we're going to create an event around that, and we're also going to invite the community to, we have a wonderful dollhouse of the Chateau itself, and it is completely empty. There's nothing inside, and we're going to engage the community and have people build furniture and for different eras and things like that, and then fill that Chateau dollhouse and have a celebration around that. So we are planning a collaboration with the Montana Standard for a writer's residency in the fall, where 4 laureate writers will be invited to Butte to do research, to learn about our community and our city. And they will be writing a piece for the Montana Standard, an original piece, and then there will be readings at the Chateau in the ballroom of their work, of their pieces. And then in line with our original mission, I requested there be a youth component to this, wherein those laureate writers will then go in and work with Butte youth on a creative writing project that will then also be hosted at the Chateau. So the youth will hear their own work read, and we're going to have some kind of publication aspect to that, whether it's an e-publication or a hard sort of paper publication. But so we have that, and then I am engaged with Irene at the archives, working on the Smithers project, the photographs, and I have talked to several local and native Butte writers, Ed Dobb, Aaron Parrott, David Abrams, Susan Dunlap, David McCumber, and many more. And we're going to do a project where historic Butte photographs are going to be given to a writer on this list, and that writer is going to respond to those photographs, and we're going to have an event and an exhibition and probably a publication that will be based on these wonderful photographs. And then we're going to continue to, we're engaging people for rentals, and we're doing continuing with our youth programming. And I love my job.
Yeah, me too.
We love that enthusiasm, and I'm sure it's quite contagious. So.
Yeah, and we would really like to thank the Archives Board and the staff for how much support that they've given us, as well as Chief Executive Matt Vincent and all of you, our Council of Commissioners, for all of your support of the Chateau. We really couldn't do it without you, and the Root and the Bloom could not have blossomed without this beautiful building. And there's really wonderful things happening at the Chateau, and we are so happy to see the community responding to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ellen?
Hey, that's really it.
Okay.
Because we wanted to be sure that you were up to date with what's going on. And as you can see, we have a lot of enthusiasm, and we've got fixed another old building, and we're well on our way. So does anyone have any questions for Carson, Mitzi, Brian, or myself?
But first, I want to apologize to Jim for calling him John. I'm sorry about that. Any questions for Bill or Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would commend you on doing a very good job. I really enjoyed some of the things. I did have one comment or complaint. When I was at one of the events, it was one you mentioned with the Easter Rising with Father Beretta. He had did a lot of work to promote it at all of the masses at the time. And so it was overpacked and everything. And I sat there waiting for quite a while, and I talked to an awful lot of people there, and they were really supportive of the programs and everything. The one comment they all wished was that it was a lot of the older generation, I'd say, and a lot of your advertising and focus has been done on Facebook. And a lot of them did not have Facebook or use it, that media, or the web very much. I know that is the way of the future, but if there's a way to get the word out otherwise, I would recommend doing that. And for some of the ones that you imagine are going to be more popular, definitely do something with that, because I know it's kind of beyond your control when there's that many people, but there was quite a few people who I talked to who recognized me, who came away from that angry and upset. But afterwards, everyone who was there was very thrilled with all of the programming. So kudos on that. But the other, just the better advertising and things with that. But I know those are some situations beyond your control.
Do you mind if
Callison, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to respond, and I thank you for your comments, and I just wanted to clarify one thing about Father Beretta's speech was that it was a last-minute addition to our program, which was unfortunate. Edwin Dobb was supposed to speak, but due to health issues, he was unable to make it. And so Father Beretta very kindly jumped in to help us. And so one thing that we certainly recognize that Facebook is more of a younger audience, and we did our best to make those changes as well publicized as we could. But you know, when you have 2 weeks to publicize something, I think that was a lot of what people were responding to. And I spoke to a few people, and I was like, well, this was just a 2-week thing, so we didn't have a lot of time. But that, I mean, due to the overwhelming response from Father Beretta, was really wonderful about publicizing it and bringing a lot of people in at that last minute, even though all of the advertising had Ed Dobbs' name on it, which was really unfortunate. Yeah, but that's something that we did receive a lot of feedback in that forum, and we're hoping to be able to expand that. And since it's just me and Carson, we're really gathering a lot of volunteers to sort of help us make those events more buoyant and more publicized in the future, just because we need more manpower. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, let us know. But thank you so much for your comments, and it really, it's something that we're taking to heart.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any questions for anyone? Once again, kudos.
Great.
Beautiful building. It's well kept, and what a changeover in the last 2 years. So thank you, Ellen, and thank you everyone for coming tonight. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
all right, moving on to, this is at the point of our meeting where I ask for any public comment on any items that are on tonight's agenda. Is there any public comment on any item on tonight's agenda? I believe I see any. All right. Okay, we'll move on to section 2, communication number 16-70. Patsy Coates, Property Specialist, Butte-Silver Land Records Office, requesting Council of Commissioners to concur with the request of the County Attorney's Office to issue a resolution for mailing, quote, a notice that a tax deed may be issued to the county, end quote, to all property owners and interested parties on the delinquent real property taxes for year 2012. That resolution did get introduced. It's sitting, I believe, in our Judiciary Committee. So Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'll make a motion that we cross-reference communication number 16-70 with resolution number 16-24 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference communication 16-70 with resolution 16-24 and place it on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 3, communication 16-151. Sheriff Ed Lester, Butte-Silver Law Enforcement Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize the Chief Exec to sign contract with Community Counseling and Correctional Services, CCCS, to transport youths to detention center. Sheriff Lester.
Madam Chair, members of the council, with regard to the youth transport contract, I have not heard back from CCCS. They are reviewing it. I think they will eventually get back to us and we'll have an agreement, but it's still, I would recommend holding it in abeyance.
Okay, and we will hold that in abeyance. Thank you. Section 4, communication number 16-162, Mark R. O'Neill, 26 11th Avenue, Helena, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize purchase of county-owned property under the adjacent landowner policy. Property of interest is the back end of the lot of 621 West Courts, bordering on the north side and joining it to the alley. We are waiting. I did go to Land Sales Committee meeting, and Mr. O'Neill will be doing a survey. Survey has to be done first, and once that is completed, then we will receive a letter of recommendation from the Land Sales Committee. So we'll continue to hold that in abeyance. Section 5, communication number 16-163, Ron Crowley, 905 13th Street, Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize purchase of county-owned property under the adjacent landowner policy. Property of interest borders west of 905 13th Street over to where the slope goes down to the reservoir. We did receive a letter of denial from the Land Sales Committee. I believe we received that last week. There's infrastructure issues, so we can't sell it to them. So Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we cross-reference communication number 16-163 with communication number 16-212 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference communication 16-163 with communication 16-212 and place this on file. Is there anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 6, communication number 16-177, J.P. Gallagher, Director of Butte-Silver Parks and Recs Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on May 18th, 2016 agenda to conduct a bid opening regarding the Butte-Silver invitation for bid for the Miners Field Masonry Project at Copper Mountain Sports Park. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Being that we held that bid opening, I'll make a motion that we place communication 16-177 on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 16-177 on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 7, communication number 16-181, Dave Boyd, CCCS Director of Treatment Programs, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a presentation from CCCS and the management team of the Southwest Montana Addiction Recovery and Treatment Program, SMART, on May 18th, 2016. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Being that we held that presentation, I'll make a motion that we place communication 16-181 on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 16-181 on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 8, communication number 16-182, Nick Sanford, Road Operations Manager, Butte-Silver Public Works Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on May 18th, 2016 agenda to conduct a bid opening for the Community Transportation Enhancement Program, CTEP, Bike Routes Project on the Butte Flats. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we place communication 16-182 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place. Okay, and we have a motion and a second to place communication 16-182 on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 9, communication number 16-185, Carl Hafer, 6050 Porter, Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners and the Chief Executive address reasoning with regard to the Grove Creek contamination and future plans. I understand that tomorrow morning at 10:30, there is a TRC meeting, that's a technical review committee meeting that Mr. Hafer will be attending. So I have been instructed to hold this in advance until that meeting and they come back with any questions. So continue to hold that. Section 10, communication 16-189, Julie Connors, Finance and Budget Accountant, Butte-Silver Finance and Budget Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a public hearing on May 18th, 2016, for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2015-16 budget to allow for unanticipated revenue related to audit finding 15-6 in Butte-Silver's June 30th, 2015 comprehensive annual financial report. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we place communication 16-189 on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 16-189 on file. Is there anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 11, communication number 16-219, Kristen Rosa, Administrator, Tax Increment Financing Industrial District, TIFID, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a public hearing on June 1st, 2016 regarding the creation of the South Butte Industrial Targeted Economic Development District. That public hearing we will hold in advance until June 1st, 2016. Section 12, communication number 16-224, Matt Moore, Metro Operations Manager, Butte-Silver Public Works Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on June 1st, 2016 agenda to conduct a bid opening for the Butte-Silver N6 Sanitary Sewer Replacement Project. We will hold that in advance until the June 1st agenda. Section 13, communication 16-225, Matt Moore, Metro Operations Manager, Butte-Silver Public Works Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on June 1st, 2016 agenda to conduct a bid opening for the 2016 N6 Basin Sanitary Sewer CIPP project. And we will hold that until June 1st. We'll hold that in advance. And lastly is Section 14, communication number 16-228, Nicole Ivankovich, Assistant Director, Butte-Silver Public Archives, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a presentation this evening for the Archives Board of Directors to present employment contracts for the Clark Chateau and authorize the Chief Executive to sign the Clark Chateau employment contracts with Carson Becker and Callison Stratton. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Being that we held that presentation and looked at those contracts last week, I'll make a motion that we place communication number 16-228 on file. Can I ask the county attorney one quick question?
Sure. County Attorney.
It just, I was thinking about that one. So last week's recommendation was to concur and hold in the committee of the whole so they could do this presentation, which, so that's here today. So do we need to concur with this communication again and then place this communication on file?
County Attorney Joyce?
Yeah.
County Attorney Joyce?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Morgan, yeah, it wouldn't hurt.
Okay. So I'll amend my motion to concur with communication number 16-228 and place on file.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to concur with communication number 16-228 and place this on file. Is there anything further on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And then we have, at this point in my meeting, the public comment on any public matter not on tonight's agenda. Is there any public comment this evening? Seeing none. Anything further to come before us tonight? Commissioner Palmer and
I have a question for the county attorney.
County Attorney Joyce.
Maybe it goes back to the Judiciary Committee meeting we had and made a recommendation to pass the Tiffin one on the final reading. And we're having a public hearing to create that next week. So we probably should have pulled that in advance instead of passing it on the final.
Is that on Judiciary?
So we may have to reconvene the Judiciary is what I'm getting at.
Which number is that one?
Well, communication 16-219 was the one
Right.
from Kristen Rosa asking for the public hearing next week. And then Judiciary replaced the resolution on the final reading,
16-10.
which would create, we would pass it before we had the public hearing.
County Attorney Joyce.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Palmer, I assume the public hearing will be before the resolution is read at final reading, but, so I think you could not pass it on final reading next week if there were public comments that made you rethink your passage of the resolution.
So that would remain as moved? Okay. Commissioner Sorge?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to remind everybody next week from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, Danette Gleason, Director of Finance and Budget, will be providing some CAFR training for all those that are interested. We had it about a month ago, and it's very, very good and very interesting. And it will be posted so everybody can show up.
Next Wednesday?
Yes, at 6.
Thank you, John. Commissioner Anderson?
We moved to the second.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to mention that Butte Central had their graduation this past Sunday, and Butte High School will be graduating Tuesday before we convene again. So I think it'd be a good opportunity if any of them are listening and their families and friends to graduation to the class of 2016, and wish them good luck for their future endeavors.
Okay, and everyone enjoy Memorial Day weekend. I pity anybody that's camping, but that's the way it goes on Memorial Day weekend, so. Anything else to come before us this evening? Okay, seeing none, Commissioner Morgan.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.